Welcome to Corey's Confessional, where secrets are spilled and dignity's killed.
What up, dorks? It's Cool Guy Guitar here. You might be asking me, what makes you so cool, cool guy? Probably these buys for the guys, you know what I'm saying? It's little curls for the girls sometimes, you know, a little reverse. You know, because I'm just bi like that. I mean, I like buys, having them. Obviously. That's what I meant. Yeah, I've been in this hostel for what feels like decades. Haven't seen the sun in, I don't know, like 2 weeks. Not taking care of my mental health, but that's not even real. The only health I need is the health of these guns. Let's go, dude. Yeah. That's all I care about. You know, getting some of that. You know, this podcast gonna be crazy, man. It's not gonna make any sense. I might not even stay on camera. Who knows what's gonna happen? Oh, there you go. What's gonna happen? Here am I. Whoa. It's gonna be nuts. I might not even talk for some of it. You know, we're just gonna steep with the dead air. I love dead air. Love when things are dead. Like everything inside of me right now. I kind of look like a guy who like worships Joe Rogan. Don't you think? But then also like identifies as a male feminist. You guys better behave, all right? These kinds of comments can only come from me. Are you guys in the comments and all your trash talk that you do every week? You better settle down, all right? You better behave, grow up, even, all right? Or else I'm gonna trap you. Yeah, try to stop me, all right? Yeah, calm down, all right? This is no laughing matter. Just because I might look like a guy who would start a cult, but I feel like in reality, like I'd be one of those dudes who, like, wouldn't even have sex with the followers. I would just be like a really encouraging cuck, you know? I'd just be like, Frank, oh my god, good job. It's all in the hips, you know? Hilda, 3 at once. That's a new record. Someone's getting an extra spiritual awakening tonight. I feel like a guy who does solely drink IPAs, but it's not gay. Because IPAs aren't gay, alright? IPAs are cool, and it's cool to only drink them. I love drinking only IPAs and talking about it all the time. It's just part of my personality, man. My Tinder bio is drinks IPAs. On the patio with my homies. So cool. That's a personality. I work at the bank and drink IPAs, man. That's my life. I feel like I do look like a guy normally who, like, does top and bottom, but maybe exclusively with trans people, you know? Like both kinds. You know what I'm saying? That's right. This one's gonna be nuts. Don't know what's happening. You know what was nuts? I know I've kind of talked a little bit about that trail I did, this 3,000 kilometer hike in New Zealand. My first day, man. I'd like to go through some of it where I started with 30 some kilograms of stuff on me, 2 big bags. I never Googled anything about hiking, never hiked before in my life. And the first day I did 12 kilometers. I remember Googling the trail, like, how long is this? Like, 3,000? There's no way I'm gonna make it. And turns out, spoiler alert, I never did. I never finished that thing. The first day at 12 kilometers in, I saw this Maori tribe. It's like the Aboriginals in New Zealand. They were guarding their hut, you know, just vibing on the beach. And the only thing I've ever asked for is directions, and in this case, water. I was like, do you have any water? They were like, oh, who is this homeless boy? He's going to die. And so they give me water, and they let me do my laundry at their house a couple days later. And they had pet sheep that they literally like raised in their house, like dogs, like in their beds, just hanging out. And so when you go over to them, they'd come and they'd want to be pet, like dogs. So I just thought all sheep were like this. Fast forward to the rest of my first 3 months on the trail when I was by myself in the off season because there were no other hikers. It's just me running after sheep in the rain. It's like, why don't you love me? The sheep are like, bah, what the fuck, bah? You know, I love sheep, dude. Sheep are sick. Yeah, I went to this one trail angel's house where I stayed there, and immediately they're like, oh, you're in luck. They're coming to get bottle fed, and just ran up to us. We got the bottle feed these little sheep. I had another trail angel. These are the people that host us on the trail, right? And I just became friends with them. And the next day, they were like, oh, do you want to shear our sheep, Tom and Jerry, tomorrow? I was like, oh, yeah, sure. They're like, okay, well, 2.5 hours south, we can drive you to my parents' house. We have these 2 sheep, and we shear them once a year so they can stay cool. And they're just our pets, Tom and Jerry. And, as soon as we start doing it, they're doing the belly, and they're like, hold on to the nuts. Make sure we don't nick them. So I was holding these sheep nuts up. They thought that was the funniest thing ever. I don't even know if they needed me to actually hold the nuts or they were just pranking me. But it's a sick prank. Because although I drink IPAs, I'm not gay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I worked at a nursing home for the last 6 months in New Zealand. That was some wild times. Yeah, one of my friends, we'll call him Bob. He was an autist, not an artist. He was splashed with autism real hard. He was a good lad. And he didn't like when things changed, because with autistic people, they don't like when things change. They want things to stay the same. And I had a very exact schedule, like 4 days, 10 hours. He knew my schedule. He knew every day exactly what I was doing. He'd be like, Corey, Mike, Corey, you gonna work tomorrow, Corey? I'm like, oh, actually, Bob, I took off tomorrow, actually. I'm not working tomorrow. He's like, Wednesday, mate, Wednesday you're working, mate. I'm like, actually, Gavin, I'm off on Wednesday too. He's like, Thursday, mate, sure, you're working Thursday, mate. I'm just losing his mind. He once asked me I was the maintenance assistant, although I've never assisted the maintenance man one time. And I can't even do maintenance. My dad's a maintenance man. I was the kid that was putting the flashlight in his eyes, growing up. I don't have any maintenance skills. There's a room that I painted almost a year ago now that still has paint all over the floor. I did a terrible job. And this guy would, he asked me, he's like, Corey, Mike, Corey, come in my room. There's these wires. I want you to get rid of them. And it's just the wires that have been there for 10 years for his TV. He wanted me to chop them off. I'm like, God, we can't chop those off. They're for the TV. He's like, oh, okay, Mike. No worries, Mike. I'm like, all right, no worries, yeah. Next day, he'll be like, Corey, Mike, come check my shower. My shower's not working. It's not going hot. I'm like, oh, okay. Just put the water on, let it go for 30 seconds. Hot water comes on. Be like, oh, thank you so much, mate. Like, no worry, Gav. Bob. Next day, same thing, I'll be like, oh, my shower, Corey. My shower's not working, Corey. I'm like, oh, Bob, have you ever tried leaving the water go for 30 seconds? He's just, thank you so much, Corey. These old guys, man. These old people at this place, the nursing home, like, they had a whole room. They had a whole room in this nursing home that was just chairs with people who shit on them daily. A shit chair room. Yeah. It's pretty shitty in there. Yeah. One time I walked down these stairs that no one goes down. I was doing random cleaning jobs in all these different corners of the building. And there was just liquid shit just every step, like 4 people's worth. Some old guy had explosive diarrhea, somehow managed to get in this random stairwell, made it all the way up or down, shit everywhere, never told anyone, probably forgot. You know? Wild. Yeah, I dug out gutters of shit, of bird shit and like dead birds from the gutters. I've cleaned these places that hadn't been cleaned in like 20 years, just sorting them out and cleaning everything. Lifting crazy amounts of stuff. That job was it was amazing. I loved it. Got to live in my own apartment, in the back. But living with all the old people was really funny. Like, there was this old lady, and she'd always be like, every day, walking through the hallways in this nursing home. And I lived with them, right? I knew them so intimately. And this lady be walking through the hallways just like, where am I? Where am I? I'd be like, you're in hell! And I'd run away. Get pranked. Oh man, yeah, it was fun. I did really like it there, But yeah, these folks, they're not all meant to be in there. I think some of them are kind of forced to be in there. Like, there was this thing I saw on the news a couple days ago. Is like, I say the news as we watch the news on freaking Insta or whatever. And there's this lady who, in a Chinese nursing home, climbed like 10 feet up over this gate to get out of the nursing home. She was being held against her will. She was this tiny little frail 90-year-old Chinese lady. I don't know what they're feeding her, but I mean, I talked to some people who just wanted to get out of there, or thought they were getting out, or somebody was coming to get them. And every day it's the same kind of story. They think somebody's coming to get them or whatever. It's kind of sad, honestly. But for Cool Guy Guitar, who cares? The only thing that I'm worried about are these guns. Know what I'm saying? Oh, that's all I care about, bro. That's all my bitches care about. It's all I care about. It's all it's about. That's what's up. What else I got? I just wrote all the places I've slept. Oh boy. I fell in love with a prostitute one time. I didn't know she was a prostitute. We just had sex, no condom, and then she told me afterwards. Boy, was I not pleased. That was not nice. But no, she was a good lad for a little while, Great guy, medium bush, all that. But then when we did end things, it's because we did it in her bum, and then I didn't give her aftercare. And that was pretty strange for me, because I just I don't know. I guess I think I usually do, but at this point, for whatever reason, I just sploosh magoosh in the boom, and usually bitches are just like, "Thanks, Cool Guy Guitar." I'm so grateful for this time that we had, that you took the time out of your busy schedule from doing all those buys for the guys who appreciate it so much, and curls for the girls if they're lucky, to sploosh in my bum. Thank you we love you. We love you, Cool Guy. I'm just like, yeah, whatever, because I don't care. Because I just push all those down because feelings are gay. I don't give a shit. And so I did that, and I immediately was like, all right, well, I'm going to go meditate and journal. Goodbye. And she didn't like that, and then she shut down, and she became a less nice person. And so then I cried in a church that I slept in for 7 nights by myself. But then after that, I realized, why not just be cool and not cry? Duh. Imagine crying, dude, and being gay. That's nuts. I'd rather just be cool and just be chill, Just hang out with my bros. Just smash bitches when I want to and not care about the consequences or what happens after, Do I have STDs? Yeah, plenty. I'm trying to catch them all. They say it's like Pokemon, gotta catch them all. Who gives a fuck? I asked that to a guy the other day. I was like, I had like an alcoholic friend in Malaysia. I hung out with for a few days. Beautiful man, but he's unhinged. He's out of it. I was just like, hey man, like, so do you have any STDs? He's like, I don't know, but I'm trying. And he just jumps into the water, go talk to that lady. What a man. That guy's a cool guy, I'll tell you what. He's very cool. Yeah, one time I was, freedom camping in New Zealand is kind of not. It's frowned upon in a lot of areas. Some areas is pretty chill. But the first bit to get to Auckland took me 3 months. Takes most people 3 weeks. You know. And I was doing it in the off season by myself, stopping every village, every town for like 3 days to a week, just get to know the locals. And one time I didn't have any place to stay. I was really not prepared, day by day to the max. And yeah, I was just like in a town. It was super dark. And so I decided to try to put up my little air mattress in a bathroom out next to the beach and got kicked out by security. And so they told me to go somewhere else. And then the other security guard came and told me to go somewhere else. And the field that I ended up putting my tent in, I wake up and there's just kids running around, lawnmowers. I'm in my underwear, like some gremlin coming out of my tent. No sleep, just waking up in a puddle of sweat. I used to wake up at 2 p.m. on the beach in a puddle of sweat, just like just can't breathe. I remember one time I was on the beach on the 90-mile beach in the first bit of the TA, and I didn't have any kind of. I used to have a poop shovel, and I thought, oh yeah, I'm just gonna poop and then dig it. I was on the beach and I said, whoa, I'll just dig a hole in the sand and just poop in there. Poop got in my nails. It wasn't cool. I didn't like that. I had no sanitizer or anything like that. Just salt water from the beach. And on the same day, a banana exploded in my bag. I think it took me about 3 hours to clean everything, to sort everything out, and to squat there. And I started the trail on 197 pounds. I wasn't this smoke show of a bro that you're seeing right now all the time. All right. I lost 17 pounds in 2.5 weeks on that motherfucking trail. Hi. Okay, this shit wasn't easy, bro. All right, this shit wasn't fucking easy, dude. Okay, I fucking worked for it, man. You know. A hat can say a lot about someone, because if you flip the hat over,
I feel like now I'm just kind of like I'm just like I like to play chess and I like to talk about the decision trees. Actually, in the King's Indian defense, you have like a 5% more accuracy rate if you don't put your knight to g7.
And then you can go the sideways, and then you become all of a sudden you're like one of those guys who goes to karaoke. I used to know a guy who goes to karaoke. He'd like have a hat like this, right? And he would sing Eminem songs, but then like mess up all the words, And he thought he was the new Eminem. He was just like, "I'm the real Slim Shady. Please stand up. Please stand up. I'm gonna stick a record saying. I'm saying, is that saying? That's what I'm talking about, bro. That's what I'm saying. And that's what's up. I basically just became J Rock, but now I'm saying. I'm saying. Yeah, Rockpile, what's up? Trailer Park Boys, I know you guys are watching this. I know everyone's pretty in tune, most of the world really. So yeah, shout out Trailer Park Boys. I know you guys are a little bit smaller than me now, so that's cool. But yeah, I actually went to see Leahy before he died. I saw Leahy and Randy perform like a little kind of sketch stand-up type thing in Moncton, New Brunswick, with my buddy Hamza. And they did a body shot of our friend Dez, where Leahy licked his nipples and down his belly and took a body shot off of his belly button. It was awesome. Yeah, it was pretty hot. Not that I'm into that, but it was pretty hot. Yeah. Yeah, he came out Leahy came out from the back of the. That was pretty gay. Leahy came out from the back of the crowd and grabbed this random girl's drink. Jesus fucking Christ! Can I get this fucking thing on? God damn it! All right, settle down, stay cool. Stay cool. He came up from the back of the crowd and he grabbed a random girl's drink. He just starts chugging it, you know? And this girl didn't know who he was, and her boyfriend's just losing it. He hotboxed a jointy poo from the crowd with a plastic bag over his head. Oh, what a legend, man. Rest in peace, Leahy, dude. What an absolute legend. Oh, yeah. The apartment zoo, dude. Yeah, one time I was just walking on the street, and yeah, I was like 7 or 8, starting to get dark, didn't know where I was staying. Lady and her dog, golden retriever. I see the golden retriever, I'm like super hyped up, right, as I get. It's like, oh my god, you know? And she's like, oh, like, you want to come up for tea? And I was like, sure. And I like meet her husband, and then they have like 2 rats that I'm now like feeding these little pieces of rice. At the same time, this golden retriever's like running around my legs, and they had 2 birds, and they came and flew onto me, and like went into my pockets and hung out and like crawled all around me. It was awesome. Yeah, I stayed with them for a night. You know, it was like this, though. You know, in New Zealand, people just offer me places to stay. They're like, this little homeless boy is going to die if we don't help him. And it's not far from the truth. You know, I don't know if I probably talked about this already, but I did go in a trail that was closed for 3 years. I went in it because it was 7 kilometers less. I was going up and down these steep inclines and declines, you know, getting caught up in vines. If I broke my ankle, I had no personal locator beacon, I'd be dead. 100%. Yeah, I definitely risked it for the biscuit, you know? At least I came out super cool. And then I met this lady. We'll call her Hilda. And she's 75 years old. I met her at a coffee shop, and she became one of my best friends. We still talk actually yesterday. And so I was staying with her, and I was teaching her how to play chess, you know? And she's a really big stoner lady, and so she'd be staring at the board, just really focused, you know? She'd be like, cool guy guitar. I'd be like, present. She'd be like, why? How did the pawns move again? I was like, well, Hilda, the pawns actually, they move forward, and then they capture diagonally. And she'd be like, oh, okay, yeah. And she's high, and she's looking at the smallest chessboard of all time. She's just like, and 10 minutes go by, and let me say, I wasn't staying so cool. You know what I mean? I was chilling, but, you know, there's only so many minutes we can be looking at move 3 of a chess game. You know what I'm saying? And then so Hilda's just like, so Corey, the pawns, how do they move? And I'm like, they move forward and then they go diagonally to capture stuff. Sometimes can't stay so cool, you know. That's all right. We're chilling. It's all right. Oh yeah, I have here dying in the woods alone. Yeah, one time my friend Will, who was on the first 3 podcasts here, he's a beauty. He drove me like, I don't know, 5 hours or something in the middle of nowhere to do this next section, right? I was in the city hanging out with him, doing stand up or something. And he drops me off, and I start not feeling all that well. I walk, I think it was like 10 or 15K, and like really not far to the first hut. And I only walked, I think, 2 in a place where you really can't put up a tent because there's just like a bunch of rocks and hard surfaces and stuff. And there's water there, mind you. And I get just insanely ill. And I tried to go grab some water. And for some reason, my energy was just zapped, you know? And I go try to grab some water. And as I'm trying to grab it, I feel like I'm just going to shit myself. And so I explosive diarrhea all into the little river that people drink out of. And, you know, we filter, right? But come on. Like, that's a no-no. But, like, it just happened. And then I get up just a tiny little, like, walk. Like, I'm talking,
normally like a 10-second walk up this little hill, and then just start puking everywhere. And I laid under a tree for 7 hours in my underwear. I lost my socks, my hiking socks. I left them on the ground and just forgot them until the point where it was getting dark and I had to put up my tent. So I did everything I could to get more water, put my tent up. It was the hardest thing ever. I could barely move. And eat some banana chips and then went to bed. And then I made it to the next hut the next day. And I think I stayed there for 2 nights. Yeah, I mean, I've done so many bits on the trail where I must be the longest person on these sections in history. I mean, there was a bit on the trail that was called the Richmonds, and people typically do it in 6 to 9 days. I did it in 13. Yeah, but things always worked out. Like these guys who just came in on this thing. I had a little bit of an injury, but also I was planning on doing it slow. I brought 10 sticks of salami, 30 wraps, and 1.2 kilograms of cheese. That's it. Sometimes a multivitamin because I want to stay healthy. And these guys came in on a helicopter and they were starting to repair one of the huts that I was in when I had I had another quad injury for a couple days. And they were just like, "Oh, do you want all this free food?" I was like, "Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, I can survive now. Great." So I just vibed, just did like some pull-ups. Anytime a lady come in, just take off my shirt real quick, do a couple pull-ups. You never want to stop being cool. That's the thing, right? I couldn't if I tried because I'm just that cool. But, for people who have to really try to be cool, I think that you never want to stop. Because once you stop, you lose the momentum. And really, this is a mental health podcast. And we're talking about habits. Now, having a good habit is everything. Because you make it easy, you make it simple, you make it part of your life, part of your identity, you stick with it forever. So if your habit is to just be a cool guy, what else do you have to worry about, buddy? All right? Life's just easy after that. Because you're just cool as fuck. All right. More shit stories. Well, back home, people always get mad at me, all the boys, because once in Miramichi, a city back home in New Brunswick, I once shit in the river when we're all just like hanging out in our floaties, and I didn't think it was a big deal. Guys, is a river not just God's bidet? Come on. I don't think I did anything wrong. But they were all like, "Oh, but what if people are swimming? What if our feet are? What if we're?" Shut the fuck up, pussy! What if you can just shut up, you little bitch? They were like, "Well, just go take a shit in the woods next to the water." I was like, "What? Like a bear? I'm not a bear. I'm a fish." Do I not give off fish energies? That's how I swim. It's not a big deal. No one taught me. I'm self-taught. It's not that embarrassing to swim like that. I think because I'm so strong, I can actually just swim only using my fingers. All right? That's why I look like this. It's not for any other reason. Okay? Stay cool. Yeah, I want to see a bunch of penguins. Oh. Yeah, there's 200 penguins come up, right? And you're supposed to be really quiet. You're not supposed to make a sound. You got to stay cool. You know what I'm saying? And this little, we're at kind of the end of it. And they do like in Madagascar where one penguin will stop the other penguins. Like, oh, oh. Okay. There's seals just hanging out like, and they're just really aware of shit's going on. I'm like, you guys are doing this every night, Stay cool, guys. Why you tweaking? All right, settle down.
But to be fair, one of the penguins was really fat, and there's this little step that they had to like jump up and then keep waddling, you know. And he went last. And I'm like, guys, let him go first. You know? Like, what if he doesn't make it? And sure enough, this guy's jumping this every night. But he's eating one too many salmon overnight, you know what I'm saying? Like, this guy was a little chubby monkey, and he tries to make it, and he just misses it, and he falls on his back, and I almost cried. I was just like, oh, the little penguin's like, he's like, then he goes, and he tries to hype himself up, right? He's just like, and then goes, and then all the little penguins are like, okay, we can go. And everyone was cool again. Yeah, it was sick. It was sick. And I almost cried, but it wasn't gay. It was like, just because it was, some air went into there was some cold air also at the same time that went into my eyes. That's why. No, it was pretty sick. It was pretty tight. Yeah. I have here all my too high experiences. Well, let me tell you something, guys. All right? You can't get too high. All right? It's actually impossible to be too high. You just gotta not be a little pussy. You just gotta ride that wave, son. You just gotta get into the next dimension. Just, let it happen to you. You just gotta feel those little munchkins get into your skin. Just feel paranoid, weird, hyper focused on what other fucking people are saying and thinking about you, but really it's nothing, and it's all in your freaking head. Oh, it's awesome. I love being paranoid. Sick. Because for cool guys, it's really hard to get us stressed out, because things are just so awesome. I've never had an issue in my life, I don't think. So it's nice to add a little bit of paranoia in there, My first time ever smoking weed, I greened out. No big deal. It was pretty sick. I thought you needed a lot of weed to get high, like you do a lot of liquor to get drunk. Turns out you need a lot less. A lot less, kids. Listen, weed's no laughing matter. Even though it does give you the little giggles, doesn't it? Yeah, I had like 50 puffs off a bong and I greened out. So yeah, I lost my mind. I had munchies. I just ate everything. I had one sip of a vodka Rockstar, and apparently there's no energy drinks in those. I thought the whole time placebo, man. I thought the whole time I was drinking those in high school so much, and I was getting so energized, but it was just all in my head. It's crazy, man. Placebos rule. Please, placebos are awesome. I wish someone could placebo me into being less cool, because it's like it's even too much for me, I think. And I puked all in my ex's car. The poor thing. And she was my ex at the time too, And I just remember saying something like Corey, like this is why I don't like people smoke weed. They just get something, and my head just was spinning more and more, and I just and it's all over. And then I blacked out from weed, like crazy. And she apparently like walked me to my tent. There's like a trail of puke, and then that was that. Yeah, greening out on weed is the worst, man, because you can get drunk, and get sick, but you're still there, and you can kind of puke and rally. Like you can get sick and then kind of feel better and hydrate, and then like go still have a good night, or just not, But when the mind is thinking of thoughts that are thinking of thoughts that are thinking of thoughts, then you're in the next dimension. Then you're just thinking, oh yeah, that fire truck is coming to take the fire off of me that's everywhere. But really, you're dry, my friend. All right? You're wet. You're all the things that aren't on fire. Yeah, one time I was with my buddy. He just went through a breakup, my best friend, right? And he calls me and he's like, man, let's get high. And I was like, fucking, I'm already high. Hell yeah, I'll drive over right now. Driving high is not a good thing. Don't do it. because then we took edibles, and I had never really taken edibles before, and him only a couple times, and we didn't know anything about milligrams, didn't Google anything. And we're here, I'm watching him play MLB on the PlayStation, and I was like, first of all, it's gay that you don't have 2 controllers. All right, we should go get another one. And so he's like, yeah, all right, well, let's go to Walmart. Like, are you high? It's been 55 minutes, right? Right on that little crisp, where it's gonna start just a little something, and we were like, oh, I think I feel it. I'm like, nah, man, I'm completely sober. Let's just go to Walmart. So it hits me on the highway, and I'm driving, and I'm like, oh, now this is just a video game. Right? These cars aren't real. Whee! And he's freaking out. He also hits him at the same time. He's like, Corey, please, please. So I'm just like messing with him, right? I'm just like going to the side, like, you know, just a little bit off the road, like, and he's like, and we finally get to Walmart, and I was just like, man, stay cool. Stop being so gay. Stop freaking out, man. And we had a good laugh, and we went in the Walmart, and he was just so paranoid. He's like, everyone knows I'm high. Everyone knows I'm high. I'm like, no one's paying attention to you, man. It's fine. He's all paranoid. Like, he tries to get off the PlayStation controller. And because it's like, you know how in the electronic section, everything has locks on it? So he's trying to get it off, and he's really high, and he's like really doesn't want people to look at him, but he can't get the controller off because it has a lock. So it's just making all this rattling noise, like, and then everyone's staring at him. He's just drenched in sweat, and I'm literally on the ground laughing and crying. It was so freaking funny. And then it must have taken me like 3 or 4 minutes to figure out that you don't need to go and change the language settings to English before you start swiping your food in the manual area. Oh man. And then we listened to rock music in the parking lot, and we're having a great time now. We were like trying to make we bought a bunch of stuff to make nachos, and we go back, but we're both like, we're way too high to go anywhere. We can't drive 10 minutes back. We're gonna die. So we just stay in the parking lot. We're just hanging out, but he doesn't want the windows to be open because then people will hear the music and they'll know we're high. So I just get really, really warm, and then progressively higher. And you know how many milligrams we took? He had 120, and I had 240 milligrams of weed. So next thing I know, I'm shirtless on the Walmart parking lot pave. Just like, and I'm like, is that an ambulance? Is it here for me? My buddy's in the car just like, yeah, I think so, man. I think that is for you. I'm like, oh, no. Yeah, don't do drugs, kids, unless they're really good. And then you probably should, maybe do them. I don't know. I'm not your mom. I'm just a guy. A really cool guy. And that's why I do drugs. Oh, man. Yeah, I went into this hiking trail, and I got really high, and I went to bed, and I was like, oh, I forgot my sleeping bag. We're in a hut, mind you, but like these things were getting pretty, it's like kind of the winter in New Zealand on the bottom. So the more south you go, the colder it gets. I was fine. I was so warm because every time I get high, I get super warm. My girlfriend at the time was like freaking out. She was also high. She had a bad experience. And she was like, what? You can't. No, please take this, take that. I'm like, I'll just sleep in my underwear. And she got real upset. Like it was quite interesting. Like when you're high and you're not stressed about stuff, but then other people, they're less cool, To be fair, it's hard to reach this level of coolness, but I guess I just assume everyone's also going to be super cool. Well, I guess you can't just project your coolness onto others and expect them to have it too, Yo, sorry, I'm just going to rock out a couple real quick. Yeah, this is just my post-workout, pre-workout bicep pump. I don't like going anywhere more than 40 minutes without having a little bit of a pump, Just because what if, like, some lady comes up the stairs and then it's like, whoa, like, that guy's arms aren't really maximized. Like, that's kind of weak. And then I want them to know that I'm actually not gay and that I do like ladies. And I do like having bicep pumps and doing curls for the girls. Not just bis for the guys on occasion because I'm bi. I mean, I like bis. That's what I meant by that. All right, so let's gonna do the other one a little bit, real quick. Yeah, just a little bit of a pause, guys. All right, just a little bit of a pause, no big deal. Um, Drunk on stage, taking things. Yeah, oh yeah, forgetting jokes. What is this? Fun. Don't hear gone. Drug dealer's house. Oh, dude, yeah. I'm 17. I'm in university, right? And yeah, one time my buddy is just like, he's my resident assistant, so he's like taking care of us first year. He's like, man, you want to go smoke weed in this drug dealer's house? Because he knew I was really cool, and I was like, yeah, obviously. I'm not scared of a drug dealer. Drug dealers are pussies, all right? None of them are badass. They're just druggies. I'm not a druggie. I just like doing drugs, all right? It's different. I just do it because I'm cool. They do it because they need it, and that's gay. Obviously. So I go to his house, and I'm just like, yo, what's up, man? Can I have some of your drugs? He's like, yeah, that's fine. So he gives me a big hit off his bong, and I don't know if this was just weed, but usually I'm so freaking chill, right? People are like, oh my god, cool guy guitar. You're so chill. Like, how are you even able to exist in a world with so much stress? And I'm just like, dude, I just stay cool, man. You know? It's not that hard for me. Okay? So I take a hit off the bong though, and this one time, I lost my chill. I lost it. And I puked all over that floor and stood in it for 6 hours. My friend cleaned it all up. I thought I was there for 20 minutes. Yo, yo, man. What was in that weed, son? What was in it? I don't know. I'll tell you something. I've never lost my chill since, you know? I've always stayed cool. You know what I'm saying? That's right. Settle down. All right? Behave. That's what it's all about. All right? All right, what we got here? What we got? Yeah, one time I got really drunk on stage. I'd never really gotten drunk on stage before. I got really high, some kind of high a lot. You know, sober, whatever. One beer. So I decided this one I'm just getting drunk. I'm just going to get smashed. See what happens. Couldn't remember anything, and I think I took 2 minutes just taking all the stuff out of my pockets. I just felt like really like congested, you know. I just had stuff in my legs, and I was just like, I want to get this out of here. Just get it out. But because I was drunk, I was just like, let me fucking get it. Okay, that's my wallet. That's my put that on the ground. And people were actually really laughing at this thing. They thought it was a bit. You know, I was just drunk. You know what I'm saying? And then I tried telling some wiener jokes, and then it just bombed. Yeah. But hey, you know, that's stand-up comedy. That's the thing we love. You know, that's what we do. That's what it is, and that's okay. That's fine. That's great. Actually, I prefer bombing. I love bombing. I'm so chill. I'm so cool. I actually prefer bombing on stage just so that I can suppress those bad feelings. Because who needs them? That's how strong I am. I can suppress them like that. I can't see anything! Mushroom visuals. Oh, yeah. Very drug heavy. Very drug heavy episode. Not that everyone's listening at this point. Well, obviously, I have a couple million followers, but yeah, no, I think my main crowd's not really staying past this point, so it's fine. We'll just talk about some stuff. Yeah, no, my first time doing mushrooms, I had so many visuals. I did 3.5 grams, didn't eat for 12 hours except for one pizza pop, and I saw all the bugs in the grass. I was like, oh, I just see life. Life is everywhere. You know, I don't know if they're seeing me, but I'm seeing them, and it was trippy. Like, I don't know why it's the only time it's ever happened. I look at the lawn, and they're just bugs. I get just like, oh, there's an ant, there's a this, there's a, you know? And all the walls moved with me. And the craziest visual that time was that when I was peeing, a toilet fell 15 feet. And I was like, whoa, what if I put my wiener in that area? Is that going to fall 15 feet too? No, it didn't do it. No, it's not too long, but it sure is skinny. Yeah, and it hit me when I was taking a shit. This happened twice actually at my same friend's house, and there was a cat on the bag, and the bag with the fur and the cat was just coming out, and the eyes were looking at me like, oh. Meow. It was just like, whoa, slow down, pussy,
Because it's a cat.
didn't like that. Last time I did shrooms, I tried to make it to a techno party. I've never been to a techno party. I've never been to a festival in my life. Just too cool for it, really. And I laid in bed for 6 hours, looking at the ceiling or with my eyes closed. I'm not really sure. But it was black, and I felt like I was everybody. Yeah, not like, oh, in a philosophical way, free will versus determinism. Determinism is everything happens for cause and effect. I just said this because I thought of something else that made me think of that. I said that because I thought of it from something else that I said, and I do everything and say everything because of something that precedes it. You know, every cause has an effect. You can do that till you were born. Therefore, we don't have any free will. Technically, I think maybe. Whatever. Who cares? Not in that way, though. Like, yes, that's probably where maybe that thought came from, but I felt like I was everybody. Not just if I was you and I grew up in your circumstances, I would be you. No, 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 no. I was you. I was my mom. You know, I was my friends. I was the Asian lady that I saw yelling today. That I think she was just being normal and happy, and she was just like, "Hello, Bob. How are you?" You know, because that's just what they do here. You know, it's crazy. As a Canadian, the Asian yell is quite insane. You know, I feel like they just say shit that's like probably very mundane, but it's just very, yelly. Yeah. Yeah, that was a crazy mushroom trip, man. My first party in university, 4 people went to the hospital and got alcohol poisoning. So it was a pretty awesome time. All right, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, for a cool guy guitar, it was a pretty cool time. Let me tell you. I remember this one girl, Claire, was just like she also had alcohol poisoning that night. But before she went to the hospital, they were like, "Okay, we need to take you there." And she's like, "No, no, Corey will carry me." And I was like, "Bitch, I ain't carrying no one. I'm full of blood." I was drinking what we called gator blood. I did this river with my friend, and we found a machete, and we drank Gatorade and Jägermeister the whole weekend. We were like, "Oh, gator blood!" Oh, you know, because we were just being cool like that. It was fucking sick. And then I drank a bunch of gator blood, and then I guess what happened is one of the things I think sped up my blood or something. And I tried to open something with scissors. I can't remember exactly, but I cut myself, I think, on my wrist, and it was just freaking bleeding, man. It was just blood, just everywhere. And I was on the side of the road of this house party, and it's the last year they did that house party, by the way. We were the last cool guys, and I was calling my poor dad. My dad's the sweetest man of all time, and I was just like, "Hey, Dad, how's it going?" He's really worried about me. You know, I'm 17. I was a troubled child. I went to university first time drinking. You know, never really partied that much. And he's just like, "How you doing, Corey?" And I was just like, "Oh, great, Dad. I'm full of blood, though. You know, I'm just really, really bloody." Yeah, yeah. 4 people alcohol poisoning was pretty awesome. It's pretty sick. Um, yeah. What else we got? What else we doing? Yeah. Okay. Oh man. When I was in third year, though, we really took partying to the next level, eh? Because I lived with these 5 other guys. They were all fourth years, and I was a third year, and they just wanted to have the most house parties possible. We hosted 80% of our school's parties, and we got these 2 kegs illegally. Well, not illegally actually. The guy who got them, he got them illegally apparently. He was my buddy, and yeah, this guy was sketchy, man. He was a gay dude, and yeah, love him to death. But he would have he dated this guy from a head of a gang in Toronto who would like give him expensive stolen cars, and you just have them like in his garage, and in his driveway, just clean them and just have them because he liked cars, you know. Some real spooky stuff. But he was this little twink of a man, and we'd go to the gym together, and he wanted to be considered a twunk, you know. Adorable. And in his trunk, he'd have a baseball bat, a glove, a baseball, and then a bunch of license plates. And I was like, well, I didn't know you played baseball. He's like, oh, I don't. He's like, just if somebody needs a talking to, like, just we need it. I'm like, what are you into, man? You're just a cute little twink, you know? I just didn't know that gay guys could be, doing crime. I thought gay guys were just like, gay, and they're just like skipping around and just like eating croissants or whatever they do, I don't know why eating croissants is just maybe because the word croissant just sounds gay. Is it anything in French gay? Baguette. Oh yeah, everything in French is gay. Yeah, I bet they like their baguettes. Oh man. Yeah, and so he got these 2 kegs, and like no one showed up to the party that we were hosting for his society. And so me and my 2 buddies, we just bought the kegs off of him for really cheap, and we had unlimited beer for a month and a half. We tried doing 5-day benders, trying to get through these kegs of beer until the point where we were drinking stale beer on the bottom. We had poker nights every Thursday. Unlimited beer for $10 we'd offer people. We still couldn't get through those things. Let me tell you, there wasn't a day that we weren't hungover and very happy. Those were the golden days. I remember one house party we had, and my buddy was really good at beer pong, and it was something out of a movie. Like, it was the last cup, redemption, overtime, extra cups were added. We had all these rules, and he's like, long shot. And we're like, oh shit, he's the king of long shots. And he goes back. It's almost like the whole party of like 100 people just stopped, or at least I couldn't hear anything. It's just like when everybody's talking, and then all of a sudden it just kind of goes like this. He goes, swoosh, and everyone goes, ah! Oh my god! Ah! 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 Everyone's losing their minds. It was, as far as like a 20-year-old like frat boy party moment, that was peak existence, man. It was so sick. And then you just zoom up to me 30 minutes later, like playing my piano in the room with like a bunch of girls singing "Too Late to Apologize." It's too late to apologize. Something I learned when I was like seventh grade, It's too late. Oh yeah, those were the days. I was like that guy from American Pie who was just like, I'm actually sensitive though. Like, you should come smash. Oh, dude. Wish I had a little piano, like a little thing to put around my neck, man. I could just like play as we're fucking talking. It'd be sick. Yeah. And then one time in a party, I had 2 buddies who I, for whatever reason, told my friend on his birthday that I would wax my stomach for him. Because honestly, in hindsight, not that cool. And you might think, whoa, cool guy guitar. Isn't that kind of gay? And I was thinking, you know what, man? You know what? I don't like that kind of prejudice in this podcast, all right? Okay? Cut that out. All right? No, it's not gay because it's for your homie. And anything you do for your homie, as long as you say a no homo, that's not gay. All right? Stay cool. All right? And even if it was gay, that's fine. Like I said, I have lots of gay friends. And I like doing some buys. So I'm a little bi. I mean, I like buys, is what I mean. So it's cool. It's just that time, gotta make sure I get a little pump in just in case something comes up. Man, for real, I gotta see the sun one of these days, dude. I'm kind of losing my mind. Nah, it's fine. I don't care. I don't give a shit. Because I got the body. Who needs the fucking mind, dude? Pussies, that too. So I'm shaving my stomach. So I'm waxing my stomach with these expired wax strips. And I got one friend on top of me, like, feeding me Fireball. Like, don't be a pussy, man. Come on. And I'm literally on my back, like, as another guy is sitting on my leg, and it's not gay. We said no homo, okay? Relax. And he's sitting on my legs, and he's taking the wax strips off, right? But all the wax is expired, and it's just staying on all my belly and all everywhere. And so none of it's coming off. And then we use the little wipes that are supposed to take it off, but those are expired too. So then I go into now I'm trashed. It's 9 p.m. The party's barely started. People are just walking in, seeing this commotion, cheering me on. I go and take a shower and shave off all this wax. But then all the clumps get caught up in the wax, in the razors. And so I try to scrape it off with my hands. I wake up in a puddle of blood in my bed. Door is wide open. I'm naked. A little bit of semen. That's normal. But then all my fingers are cut up. My stomach is full of wax clumps and blood and nonsense. Happy birthday, bro. I did it for you and I'd do it again. Alright? Because bros before hoes, you know what I'm saying? That's the ultimate cool guy code. Bros before hoes. They used to say it in caveman days and they still say it now. It's because it stands true, you know? Some things come and go, but not your bro. That's faux show. You know, I think we should probably just end it there. I'm not sure I could spread any more wisdom to you guys that I don't know if you can take anymore, honestly. This podcast has been full of so much knowledge, so much wisdom, so much coolness. I'm not sure you guys can handle anymore. This was even a bit much for me. I might have to sit down after this, and I haven't sat down in at least a week. You know? I don't even sleep anymore. I just drink coffee. Coffee is really what cool guys are supposed to be doing. Sleeping's kind of weak, man. What are you? Want to be a little vulnerable in your little blanket? No. No. You see these eyes? No, you don't. You don't get that. You don't get that from me. But if you did see these eyes, you would know they haven't seen sleep or sun many moons. All right. Thanks, guys. Whoever stuck around, if anybody, thank you. Stay gay. I love you. Bye-bye.
Go on the tube and like and subscribe so I can survive.